on the doorbell. Ring the doorbell. We need to. What's going on?
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do?
Papa.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So where are you going?
Rory, come on. Rory, come on.
Hey.
Did someone come here?
That was my wife. Somebody chased her up here. And she had the kids.
Who chased her?
She said somebody in a silver
Guy
truck.
in a gray truck, and he came
So
around the corner,
I don't
and
know if you guys have a
I was
reading.
in the street, and so I come up, and I just have my kids, and so I'm like gonna pretend that I'm coming home, and so I pull up and I start walking to your back gate, and he stops here and he goes, "Are you looking for someone?" And I said, "Nope," and then he sat here, and I was like, "I need to get in."
Well, that's my husband. That's why he lives here. Yeah. He lives here. So he came in and he said there's a lady screaming. And I'm like, that's...
She got all worried that some.
Scared the crap out of me.
How?
I'm so sorry.
How did he scare you,
I
though?
had a feel.
I just seen her in the driveway and I was like, are you looking for somebody? Because I was pulling up out
And I
home.
saw someone walking in our driveway, too. And I'm like, why is someone walking in our driveway?
I'm
Well, there
sorry.
we got it. All right, sorry.
What?
I don't.
She said that someone was following her. So you were walking from there?
You came this way, didn't you?
No, I came down this street right here.
Yeah.
And I was riding slow because I'm looking at our Christmas lights.
Well, you just have to understand my point of view. Being by myself with 2 kids, I just saw a car coming, and so I was like, oh, it scared me, and so I just pulled up here, and I kept thinking, this could be his house. But you didn't say, this is my home. You just said, are you looking? I was like,
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, did I live here? I said, yeah.
And you said, no, you don't.
And you said, I don't think you do.
It was obviously, you could tell that I was really caught off guard.
Like, I'm pulling in my... It's like I'm pulling in my house. Like, this is not... This neighborhood is probably one of the best neighborhoods in Ohio.
It is.
I don't... You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Well, I'm very sorry. I really hope that you're not upset with me.
Come on, baby. Go in the house. Let's go.
You told me that I...
So at any point in time, if anybody wants to tell you as a Black American that racism doesn't exist, show them this video. Now what you're watching is the brother's IG. This is his business IG page. The same exact man that you saw there with his Black family. It's the exact same Black man that you see to the right side of your screen, and also some of the images that you see scrolling up repeatedly. He builds housing around the area in Ohio. This is why he can state what he stated. This is one of the best areas in Ohio. You don't have to worry about any of those things happening. He would know because he builds houses in various areas around Ohio. He more than likely knows the stats and everything dealing with the crime. So when we first start the video, you see the woman screaming and hollering, help, 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 as if some murderess, as if some villain is really chasing her, is really trying to harm her. And then it next cuts to his home, right, unbeknownst to her. So then he gets out of his car, obviously in the driveway, and he asks, are you waiting for somebody? Do you know somebody here? She was like, who are you? Paraphrasing. Who are you? He was like, I'm the homeowner. I live here. I don't think that you do. I don't think that you do live here, while she's pulling her baby out the stroller and also grabbing her phone so that she can make a call directly to her husband. Now, I want to make a note here. Why is it that she is out at 5 o'clock at night with 2 children, walking around without any type of male protection is beyond me, but it is what it is. This is how some people like to do it. So then after that, she grabs the kids and proceeds to walk around the house of which she doesn't know, of which she doesn't live, right? She don't know anybody there. And then next you see the wife of the man come directly out of the home. It's like, hey, was somebody just out here? You see the husband, obviously, he pulled up his cars to the far right of the screen because you can hear the car running. He proceeds to pick up the stroller. And he's like, yeah, she said that somebody was, chasing her or whatnot or whatever. Now, I want you to note how the husband doesn't seem excited, how the husband doesn't seem initially worried. His heart isn't racing. He's not out of breath. Like he just like stopped the car in the middle of the street. Was like, yo, what's going on? None of that is happening. He's there as calm as a cucumber. So then she proceeds to come directly into the screen from the sidewalk. And she said, yeah, I was walking down the street, with my two children. And as I was walking, this car just appeared and it looked as though that it was following us and yada, yada, yada. And then, he asked a question and then he just stayed there and then yada, yada, yada. I got scared. I'm a white woman with kids and all these other types of things. So then this is when the husband comes out. He's like, ma'am, no, first the wife was like, this is my husband. He lives here, right? And the husband comes out. He's like, yeah, it's like I told you that I live here when you were standing directly on the porch. I told you I lived here. Then she tried to switch up the narrative. She was like, didn't you come from over this way? He was like, no, I came directly from over this side of the street coming up to my driveway because I saw somebody at my driveway as though that they know somebody here or as if they were waiting for somebody. And then she went into this whole victim explaining like, oh, you got to understand, where I'm from. It's dark at night. I'm a mother with two kids. Why are you trying to play the single parent, the single mother type of thing where you're just struggling? It's hard out here and the whole world is just trying to come down upon you and just attack you. This is the craziest thing that I have. This is the start. Again, we are not even at the inauguration of Trump. We are not even in February yet. We have just started 2025, and we already have our very first account of racism taking place to a black man. I want y'all to note this. This black man has locks. She more than likely was able to identify that. This black man was more than likely driving a very nice car. She was more than likely able to identify that. So again, you're looking at the example of what it is that black people have had to face in the United States. It doesn't matter if you drive a nice car. It doesn't matter how polite you are. It doesn't matter how well that you can articulate yourself. It doesn't matter if you even build homes within the area of which you stay. It doesn't even matter if you're actually the homeowner and your wife comes out and tells the woman like, yes, he lives here. But yet again, she was the one that stated that she doesn't believe that he lived there. Even the wife, his wife, said that. She was like, no, you sat up there and told him that you don't believe that he lives here. And she scoffed and started laughing directly at her because that's the type of clownery that we have had to deal with. This is how a lot of our cities have been burned down by people just like this. This is not falsified information. This is not an exaggeration. This is not any type of lies. I got too many books on me right now to back up all of this information. As a matter of fact, I recently brought a video out that let people know specifically what went down in Toulouse and a lot of other cities. I went directly over that information as well in that video. And again, the government knows, other historians know specifically what transpired and take place. So again, this is not even up for argument. It's not even up for any type of a debate. I'm not trying to hear any type of excuses from anybody like, oh, wouldn't you be scared? No, no. And I was born and raised in Detroit, and I've walked too many times at night to either go get some food or directly up to the gas station, to CVS or what have you. No, I wouldn't have. And I for sure would not have acted anything like that. That is egregious. That is 100% insane. Who were you trying to give a bat signal directly out to? Did you think that the police were going to hear you from the station and they were going to pull up 20 cars deep and you were going to point and try to say like that man right there was following us? He was looking very suspicious. You need to get him now. And then it was just going to be like the okay crowd. Did you think that was going to happen? Like I said, people have to really look at the situation for what it is, because I promise you, if this was a man that looked like her husband, reflectively like her husband, I promise you she wouldn't have had that same reaction. I promise you she wouldn't went through that neighborhood screaming at 5 o'clock at night with her kids, running up to somebody else's home. She would have just stopped and had a conversation with that person and then continued on after that conversation. And I also promise you, if a man reflective of her community came up and had a conversation with her, she more than likely would not have gotten on that phone and decided to call her husband to come appear at that exact same spot. This is again to showcase what it is that Black Americans have always had to deal with in the United States. It is a part of the fabric of this country. This is why this country is the way that it is. This is why so many of them also have the lands in the areas that they have, because they stole it. They murdered for it. They pillaged for it. They burned it down. This is why they can tell you, oh, you don't know where you're from. You don't know who your people are. You don't know what your language is, because they came through each one of our neighborhoods, destroyed everything, destroyed any type of books, destroyed any type of history, destroyed any type of remains, and they turned those directly into lakes, into ponds, into forests, into brand new real estate areas. They turned them into parks, maybe even landfills. They did everything possible to erase what it is that we created for ourselves, by ourselves, just to live. Again, and this was to live in a sense separate. We weren't trying to live directly with them because they made us understand historically how it is. They don't want us there. They want us elsewhere. And that's exactly what we did. So once we became sufficient and we built things for ourselves, they got jealous and mad and looked at everything that we allotted for ourselves like, uh-oh, no. You're not going to build that for yourself unless we deem it so, unless we do it directly for you. If we didn't do it, we're tearing it down, because we're going to make sure that you're fully dependent on every single facet of our beings. You're not going to ever be independent in this country without us unless we give the say so. And that's what they did. They burned it down. They firebombed. They did everything. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, go back and look at MLK. What did they do or try to do to his home? Did they not try to firebomb that man's home? Matter of fact, go look up some stories about the Black churches that we had and the multitude of young Black kids that perished in that church. Matter of fact, there was another video where there was this quote unquote jail that they had set up where you had these young Black boys and all of them perished except I think for one. And we have many stories just like this, where they decide that they don't like something or they have an issue, they have a problem, and they want to start getting drunk. They want to start amping up on whatever type of narcotics, and they just want to have a field day. They just want to massacre, but yet they turn around every single time and they decide to state that, oh, Black Americans are the most violent and unhinged demographic throughout all of history, knowing the fact of their own history because their own people have recorded said history and reported it to everybody else. But even still, with the truth and that narrative directly out there, they still somehow find the way, find the energy, find the shadows within the light in order to perpetrate this type of negative narrative and negative stereotype. It's insane. And also, for last but not least, for any Black men out there, pay attention to all the words that I stated. Pay attention specifically to what happened in this video. You might want to go read up on your history, because at any moment of time, this could be you. And very easily, the reaction that you saw in this video might not be your outcome. So again, never fall for the narrative that everybody's going to be accepting of you just because you got money, just because you got this, just because you got that, just because you live in some wealthy type of society and you're hobnobbing with who not and whoever, or you're dating who not and whoever. Don't think that this same situation cannot happen to you, because I promise you it can. And I've covered many of stories just like that. So don't be foolish. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.